Hello everyone. Welcome to Tell Stories. I am going to narrate the story of Disney's Fairies. The Pirate Fairie, Part 2. But now the pirate ship was gone. Silver Mist used her new fast-flying talent to zoom into the sky. You guys, I saw it, up the coast. Let's go. But the other fairies couldn't fly. Their wings were still wet. Vidya, with her new fondness for tinkering, crafted the croc's eggshell into a boat. Silver Mist towed the girls across the water until a huge wave hurled the fairies onto the ship. Tink and the girls hid as the pirates, led by James, the cabin boy, toasted Zarina. They had asked her to make them fly, but she promised something even better. Zarina would make the whole ship fly. The pirates and Captain Zarina laughed about the plundering they would do in their flying ship. Just then, a shadow passed over the deck. The girls turned to see Skull Rock dead ahead. Something was glowing inside its cave. Iridessa gasped. It looks like... Rosetta finished her sentence. The pixie dust tree, back home. Now Tink knew why Zarina wanted the blue pixie dust. That's how they're gonna fly. She's going to make pixie dust. Staying out of sight, Tink, Silver Mist, and Vidya followed Zarina to her cabin. She was preparing the blue pixie dust for the tree. James set a plate of food in front of her, watching as Zarina worked. So the secret is the infusion of the blue dust directly into the tree. Very impressive, Captain. Zarina flew up into the pixie dust tree with a vial of blue pixie dust. Tink and the fairies wanted to sneak up on her, but Iridessa, who hadn't yet mastered her new garden fairy talents, accidentally touched a branch. It grew and grew, carrying the girls right up to Zarina. Tink pleaded with her to come home, but Zarina wouldn't hear of it. I'll never go back to Pixie Hollow. Suddenly, Tink and the others were scooped up in nets by the pirates. They were taken to the galley, where the cook put them in an old crab cage. The girls tried their best to escape, but the cook saw them and dropped a sack of potatoes on the cage to hold it in place. Rosetta sighed. Anybody else got an idea? Meanwhile, Zarina added the blue pixie dust to the tree. Golden pixie dust flowed from the tree into a barrel. James was in awe. Just imagine, flying like a bird. What's it like? Zarina sprinkled James with golden dust, and the two of them soared through the air. But when they landed, James turned on Zarina, locking her in a lantern. Now that he had the dust, he had no use for Zarina. Down in the galley, the girls felt hopeless. There seemed to be no way to escape. Just then, the baby croc crawled through a porthole. He had come to find Rosetta. Rosetta called to him. Good crack, good cracky, come to mama. The baby croc pulled the wooden cage off the table and set the fairies free. But the ship, now covered in pixie dust, began to fly. James sneered at Zarina and tossed her into the sea. Bon voyage, little captain. Tink and the girls raced to save Zarina. They pulled the sinking lantern back to the surface and, with all their might, forced the door open just in time. Zarina apologized for the trouble she'd caused and wanted to help stop the pirates. The ship was headed for the second star. If it got there, the blue pixie dust would be gone forever. The fairies stormed the ship, but the pirates laughed at the hatpins the fairies were using as swords. Suddenly, Tink realized what they had to do. Our talents! Fawn zapped the pirates with light beams. Silver Mist made a whirlwind and blew the ship off course. And Rosetta, riding on the crocodile, chased the cook. The panicked pirate threw everything he had at the croc, even a clock. The pirates fought back. They wrapped up Tink and the others in sailcloth. Zarina would have to face James alone. Zarina and James fought, and the blue pixie dust went back and forth between the two of them. Suddenly, the ship began to tip over. James hung tightly onto a mast, but when he saw the golden dust falling into the ocean, he reached for it, and he fell too. Zarina was trying to free the girls when James, covered in pixie dust, flew up behind her. He took back the vial of blue pixie dust, spilling one speck. James told her to keep it. But Zarina threw the speck back at him. I think you should have it all. The speck made the pixie dust on James multiply and shot him straight into the air. The vial fell into Zarina's hands as James plunged into the sea. The fairies congratulated each other and turned the ship around. Zarina handed the vial of blue pixie dust to Tink. Please, take this back to Pixie Hollow. But Tink and the girls were not about to return without their friend. Tink smiled. Zarina, we didn't just come for the dust. The girls flew the ship to Pixie Hollow. Zarina used her dust to awaken everyone. Queen Clarion and Fairy Gary were delighted that Zarina was back. Gary gave her a big hug. Zarina, you're home. Tink and the others told them about how Zarina had made different colours of dust, and how she'd grown a second pixie dust tree. The Queen asked Zarina to demonstrate her talents. Zarina agreed, and tossed the dust that changed the girls' talents back to normal. Everyone cheered. Far from Pixie Hollow, James was still adrift in the ocean when another pirate ship pulled alongside him. A pirate with the odd name of Mr. Smee prepared to throw him a rope. Smee saw that the bedraggled pirate held a grappling hook. Oh, that's a very nice hook. James looked up and groaned. Arr, just give me a hand. That's the end. For more such interesting stories, please subscribe to our channel, Tell Stories.